AITA for not reconciling with my family after I was framed for theft. Throwaway because my brother is a Redditor. I am 23 and male. I am the middle child of my parents, 54 male and 53 female, and I have an older sister, 25, and a younger brother, 19. I've been living away from my family for 5 years with the very bare minimum of contact because right around when I turned 15, my dad's stuff started disappearing from his room. He has a pocket knife collection filled with different knives that he has collected from across the US, and some of them are pretty decently valuable, not worth like several grand or anything, but some of these probably fetch for a few hundred. He also has a collection of baseball cards and autographed baseballs. These items would vanish from his room and end up in my room, and each time I got punished for it. And each time was more severe than the last. I was looked at by my entire immediate family as a thief for 3 years, even though I constantly pleaded my innocence to them. I missed out on a few vacations, didn't have a 17th birthday celebration at all, didn't get my driver's license or a car until after I moved out, and I didn't have a job and had no way to save money aside from past birthdays and odd chores around my neighborhood. I remember my dad and mom telling me how much of a disappointment I was and that they wouldn't be surprised if I ended up in the local news as a robbery suspect or worse. My extended family wasn't much help either and saw me in the same light. It got so bad to the point where I genuinely wondered if I was actually stealing and not remembering it at all, either through some kind of mental struggle or doing it in my sleep or anything. Earlier this week, I got a call from my mom. My dad had noticed that his things started disappearing again without me being there and finally had the bright idea to set up cameras in the hall, where my brother was caught taking stuff and putting them in my sister's old room. Mom told me about that and then said that she and my dad both apologized to me for not believing me and that they would love to have me over for her birthday dinner to catch up. I asked her what her plan for my brother's punishment was and she got confused. I asked her again, reminded her that I was forced to miss out on a birthday, multiple vacations, and my driver's license at 16. She said my dad took his phone for a week and his video games for a month. I lost it on her and berated them for treating me way worse while I was being framed for being a thief while the actual thief only had his phone confiscated. I then said I will not be attending any events with them for the future and I said you guys can go FCK yourselves. I hung up and blocked her number. I then got a call later from my sister who told me that while my rage is very much justified, my mother is inconsolable and has locked herself in our parents' bedroom. AITA update. My sister, who I will call T for simplicity, called me about an hour ago as of the time I'm writing this and apologized for what she told me. Me and her have been very close ever since I moved out and she has been known to step up and apologize when she is in the wrong. No hard feelings towards her at all. As far as my parents go, my mother had an overnight epiphany according to T. She ended up kicking my brother, who I will call J, out of the house after they were able to make him admit to doing this for years. Mom told T that he was sent to my granddad's house where he will be forced to get a job and pay rent as well as his own tuition now. My dad initially fought with her on this until she made him realize just how badly he was tearing this family apart. My dad then called me, apologizing profusely, telling me I don't ever have to see them again and that they would totally understand it, but they would love the chance to make amends and fix what they damaged. He offered to gift me the amount of money I owed for loans plus an extra $5,000 for keeps. I told him I will think it over, but it might take me a while. I did accept his apology, but I haven't forgiven either of them yet and I hung up. My mom doesn't know that me and T have kept in contact as I live about 2 hours away from my parents and 3+ hours from her. And T relayed to me that my mom and my dad were thinking about selling some stuff they own and taking extra shifts at each of their jobs so they can get me a brand new vehicle as a surprise. I don't know how this is going to sound, but I'd rather not take a car or any extra money off of them, as A, everything that I own so far I earned through my hard work, and B, I feel like just buying your child's affection back is a lazy way to reconcile. As far as the situation goes, I did unblock my mom, but I will not be initiating conversation unless she or my dad texts first. Also, they did make an apology on Facebook to me and scolded my brother for what happened, so at least my extended family knows now. I might update if something else happens, but that's all I got right now. Comments before update 2. It's nice that they now know you were framed and that they want to make amends. However, they are not owed forgiveness, and they are not entitled to a relationship with you. If you do choose to give them a chance, start slow. They need to earn back your trust, and that doesn't happen overnight. Take some time to think about what boundaries and expectations you need to put in place to feel comfortable resuming contact with them. For example, after everything your brother has put everyone through, if you don't want to see him or if you don't want them to discuss your life with him, they need to respect that. If they can't respect that boundary, let them know how you will respond. Good luck. I doubt I'm going to reconcile fully. Their apologies feel more or less like they're sorry because they feel guilty more so than they're sorry because they wronged me and want to make it better. My brother is dead to me though. Nothing he could do could fix this. Commenter. Accept the money. You are entitled to that and it's the freaking least they can give you for being such an awful parents and for the bad treatments. But don't accept the car, because if you accept it, they will try to make you feel guilty for not forgiving them even though they tried to make it up to you with gifts, but if you don't accept anything from them, you won't even give them a chance to try to make you feel guilty for not forgiving them, and they wouldn't have the opportunity to gaslight you. Although in the end it is your decision. You can still block them once you obtain the car. You can take it as part of your compensation also, haha. Look, it's your decision if you want to forgive them and have them back in your life or not. I personally wouldn't do it. But I am very sure of one thing: you don't owe them anything, no forgiveness, no meeting or anything. They treated you like trash for a long time. No one will blame you if you decide to not forgive them. And the best of all is that you are independent. You can survive without them, so you can tell them to go to hell as much as you want. Just make sure you meditate and think about what you want to do. Update 2. I got a call from T. My brother Jay got arrested for stealing my grandpa's truck keys and hitting a street light about 2 miles out from their house late last night, 9:25. We'll update when I get more details, as I'm gonna call my dad about it. Stay tuned. So my brother has not taken to his new living arrangements well at all. He hasn't gone out to look for work, and yesterday he was caught trying to break into grandpa's safe right before he stole the truck. He was going too fast and unintentionally hit the street light. He didn't have any injuries, but the truck is possibly totaled, and my grandparents kicked him out too. He now has no home, and my parents have canceled his college fund and are using it to pay for my grandparents to get a new vehicle. Dad told me that he was going to try to surprise me with a new vehicle, but that idea was out the window, to which I said I appreciate his offer, but I would have declined it anyway because I have my reliable '01 Cherokee. My parents have practically disowned him, and it's all so crazy to me as he was never truly rebellious up until this week. I think he may be dealing with some serious mental crisis, and it wouldn't surprise me if his mugshot shows up on my local news. I'm not too well versed on psychology, mechanical engineering degree, so I ask, is there anyone out there with an idea as to why he may be going through this? Update 3. My mom's birthday dinner was yesterday evening, and I decided to go because they were eating at an expensive restaurant and they offered to pay my way fully. Free food sounded good to me. Those that were there were me, my sister, my brother, my parents, my uncle and his wife, mom's side, both mid-40s, and their twins, 19 male and female. I've always gotten along with their son, but their daughter, who will be called R, has despised me for as long as I can remember. My dad was pulling out his wallet for his ID so he could get a drink, and R said, in a mocking manner, "Uh-oh, my dad's name, hide your wallet, you don't want my name getting in there." I looked at her, red in the face and embarrassed, and said something along the lines of, your girl best friends have to say that to every guy in your friend group because of how you get around. She is a known cheater. She got upset and started crying, and my uncle started berating me for talking to his daughter like that, and that I was still on thin ice for what I was framed for. I got angry, flipped him off, and left the restaurant. I called my dad and he said that I have nothing to apologize for, but my mom wants me to because she wants to keep the peace between her side of the family and ours. My uncle texted me demanding an apology and put a post out on Instagram about toxic family members. This is where I come to you again. Reddit, AITA? Just a little more context to my background. I was punished and neglected from my mid-teenage years up until I moved out because of what my brother did to me, and it left me with trauma and trust issues from everyone around me. I'm usually level-headed, but everyone knows that what happened is a very sensitive subject. Mini update. Just got off the phone with my aunt, R's mom, and she gave me the most sincere apology that I've received in the past month. She said she has dealt with R and my uncle. Don't know how, but R did take down the post and my uncle did send me a single sorry. Final update. First and foremost, my mom actually straight up apologized to me for everything. From not taking my side at dinner, for the way I was treated for most of my teenage to adult life, and she ended up telling my uncle and cousin off. This was during a therapy session, and it happened before any of us said anything to start it. My dad apologized to me, as well as to my siblings, for everything. My brother is now getting some actual help now, as my parents have admitted to prioritizing me and my sister before this entire ordeal started when I was 15 and the framing began. He apologized to me for everything and was let back into my parents' house, but has to earn his trust back. I don't really care what he has to do. My contact with him is still going to be very, very limited. Also, in other news, I have a date. We met on Tinder around a little over a week ago and we clicked really well. She lives around 15 minutes from my place and we're meeting at a sushi place before I take her to the movies. She wanted to see Killers of the Flower Moon. I'm hoping it goes well.